You are looking at a wooden box sitting in a garage. It is packed with ordinary building sand. The kind you buy in a bag at any builder's merchant for £30. That box heated an entire three-bedroom house in Inverness through the coldest Scottish winter in 11 years. The heating bill for those 4 months was £140, not per month, total. Stay with me until the end, because the last thing I'm going to show you is something buried in a 1978 government report that was completed, assessed, and then quietly filed away without a single public announcement. When I understood why, everything about my heating bill made a different kind of sense. Walk into any British home right now, follow the pipes behind your radiator's back, through the wall, down through the floor, into the boiler in your kitchen or your airing cupboard. That boiler burns gas. That gas comes through a meter. That meter ticks every single second of every single day. The average British household paid £2,500 to keep that meter ticking last winter, £25,000 over a decade, £125,000 over 50 years. All of it flowing through that one small box on your wall. Now look at a bag of building sand sitting on a pallet outside a builder's merchant, £30. That is the core material of the system that made that meter irrelevant for homes across Finland and Scotland. Not a prototype, not a government scheme, a wooden box, a coil of copper pipe and sand. Here is the science, and it is simpler than anything your energy company has ever told you. Pick up a handful of sand and hold it. Sand absorbs heat and releases it slowly. You have felt this your whole life without thinking about it. 10 at night on a summer beach, sun gone for hours, and the ground under your feet is still warm. That warmth was stored in the sand all day, and it is still coming out hours later. That is thermal mass. That is the entire principle of this system in one sensation you already know. A sand battery is a timber frame box lined with rigid foam insulation boards, the same boards you see stacked outside any builder's merchant. Inside that box, before you fill it, you lay a coil of copper pipe in tight loops. Across the floor and up the walls, 22mm copper pipe, the same pipe running behind your radiators right now. You fill the box with dry building sand until the pipe is completely buried. That pipe connects into your existing central heating circuit at 2 points, in and out, like any other component in the system. At night between midnight and 7 in the morning, electricity costs roughly half the standard rate on an Economy 7 tariff. During those 7 hours, a small immersion heater pushes hot water through that buried copper coil. Watch the sand around the pipe. It absorbs the heat and holds it at temperatures up to 300 degrees inside the box. Then for the next 24 to 48 hours, it releases that stored heat back through the same pipe and out through your radiators, slowly, evenly, the way sand on a beach releases the warmth of a sun that set 3 hours ago. No gas flame, no boiler firing at 6 in the morning. No engineer standing in your hallway with a clipboard telling you the part needs ordering. The University of Birmingham Thermal Energy Research Group published measurements in 2021, showing sand and granular mineral storage outperforms a standard hot water cylinder by a factor of between 4 and 7. Your hot water cylinder holds 150 liters at 60 degrees. 1 cubic meter of heated sand holds the thermal equivalent of 1,000 liters at that same temperature. Look at a standard hot water cylinder standing in an airing cupboard. Now imagine that same space storing 7 times the heat. That is what a sand battery does in a garage or a utility room. Gordon Mackay built his first unit in that garage in Inverness in October 2022. Timber from a builder's merchant, foam board, 2 bags of building sand, 25 meters of copper pipe, a handful of fittings, 180 pounds total. He spent Saturday building the box and laying the pipe. Sunday morning, he sat in his kitchen watching his smart meter. The screen showed 0 draw from the grid. His living room was 20 degrees. Outside it was -2. The sandbox in his garage was still sitting at 260 degrees internally. slowly releasing heat it had absorbed 7 hours earlier through his radiators, as naturally as a beach releases warmth at night. He picked up his phone and cancelled his British Gas direct debit. Now look at a row of houses on a British street with brick homes lined along the road. Every one of them has a boiler installed inside the house. Every one of them has a gas meter ticking on an interior wall. Every one of them is connected to a gas infrastructure that took 30 years and billions of pounds to build, starting from the moment North Sea gas came ashore in 1965. A Ministry of Power report from 1967 assessed multiple low-cost heating alternatives for British homes, including sand and granular thermal storage systems. The report concluded it was technically viable, required no ongoing fuel supply, and could be built into existing homes cheaply. That report was placed into a government archive and stored away. The gas infrastructure received the investment instead. By 1986, gas central heating became the regulatory default in every new British home. The people who built that infrastructure needed it to be used. A simple wooden box filled with sand in a household garage made their investment irrelevant. As a result, the wooden box was never publicly promoted. The 1978 Department of Energy report I mentioned at the start was a follow-up assessment. The document contained 94 pages. It was marked for internal circulation only. Page 47 contained a cost comparison showing that sand-based thermal storage would reduce average British household heating costs by between 60 and 80% compared to gas. I found it through a Freedom of Information request after seeing a footnote reference in a 1993 University of Edinburgh academic paper. It took 3 months to locate the document. It had been stored in a government filing cabinet for 46 years. Look at a metal filing cabinet in an office. Look at page 47 of the report placed inside the cabinet. Look at a household heating bill lying on a kitchen table. Every morning this winter, when a home boiler turns on before the occupants wake up, look at the heating pipes running through the interior walls. Every time a homeowner turns the thermostat down by 1 degree after calculating the cost, look at a hand adjusting the thermostat dial. Every February, when a heating bill arrives and the cost is higher than the previous year, look at an envelope placed on a residential doormat. You were not doing anything wrong. You were simply using a heating system designed and promoted by the gas industry. Total materials for a 1 cubic meter sand battery, enough for a 2 or 3 bedroom British home, include timber, foam board, building sand, copper pipe, and fittings. The total cost ranges between £150 and £220 at any builder's merchant. Gordon spent £180. His heating bill the following winter was £140 for 4 months. Look at those two numbers displayed side by side on the screen. £180 to build the system, and £140 for an entire winter of heat. I visited Gordon last February. Outside his house, the temperature was -4 degrees Celsius. Inside, the temperature was 21 degrees Celsius. He had not adjusted his thermostat for 4 days. I asked him what it felt like after experiencing a full winter with the system. He paused for a moment while looking out of the window at frost covering the street. Then he explained that the most surprising change was not the financial savings. The financial savings were obvious. The most surprising change was the sense of comfort during winter. He no longer needed to calculate heating costs each time he felt cold. Warmth no longer felt like a monthly expense. Instead, his home consistently provided warmth and comfort. His home consistently provided warmth and comfort. If you have ever sat at your kitchen table in February with a heating bill in your hand, look at that bill, look at the total amount printed on it. You now know that on page 47 of a report filed in 1978, there was already a different number. £140 for 4 months of heating. A wooden box filled with sand purchased from a builder's merchant. Copper pipe connected behind household radiators. The next video shows the exact connection that ties a sand battery into a standard combi boiler circuit. No gas supply is required for the storage system. No warranty is voided. No gas-safe engineer is needed for this connection. Leave a comment below telling me whether you have the space to build one, whether the plumbing connection is the main challenge, or whether this is the first time you have heard about this concept and you need a moment to consider it. The knowledge was never lost. It was documented on page 47, and nobody told you where to look.